What's up, everybody? It's your boy Meme here. For breakfast, I had some chili, which I wasn't planning on having, but yesterday, so like 3 or 4 days ago, my dad cooked some chili for dinner, or maybe even 5 days ago. And ever since then, there have been leftovers. I had a bowl of chili, but we had nachos in which the sort of beans were just chili, which was very tasty. And that was one way we utilized the chili. But my dad was also like, hey, don't eat the chili because we're gonna cook tater tots, but we're gonna put chili on the tater tots. And I was like, okay. And so last night I was like, hey, when are we gonna have that? Because pretty soon these leftovers are gonna go bad. And they were like, oh, we'll have that tomorrow for dinner. And so I woke up this morning and I was taking my shower because I had to go to work today. And I asked my parents while I was in the shower, like, hey, are we for sure having those tater tots for dinner? Because I wanted to make sure. And they were like, oh no, we're having steak. And I was like, I don't know, that really bothered. I love my parents, but that had really bothered me because last night they said we were going to be having tater tots with chili. And so I had to like really quickly eat the rest of the chili before I went to work. And I wasn't able to eat anything at work. Well, I shouldn't have eaten anything at work because I had chili that morning. I had a small bowl of zuppa toscana soup. But yeah, the chili was tasty and it was good. And the steak, I'll get to the steak, it was very good. At work, there was this woman who was being very mean to me. The thing that so for those of you who have already heard this story, this is going to sound different, and it's because since I've remembered more of it as it's gone on. So the thing that had happened was this lady, I had rung her up and she was gonna pay with cash, but she spent like 45 seconds like collecting the exact coins of her stuff. And there's a lot of people who like do the exact change thing. And I never really understood what the trouble was, because you always hear about people online, like especially cashiers, like you hear them complaining about like old people who like get exact change, you know, on their whatever, you know, get exact change to pay for something. And they always talk about how slow it is. For me, it always ends up being like maximum maybe 15 seconds, and it's kind of a non-issue. But this lady for real took like 45 seconds. And it got so crazy to where there was a line behind her, by the way. It got so crazy, I even like looked at the lady behind her and I did like a Jim face, you know? And she, you know, she did the face. A Jim from The Office, that is. The American Office. So it was just crazy. It was just crazy. And so she gave me the coins, right? But she had paid 10 extra cents than the total, right? From what I counted. So like, no matter what the customer says, we have to recount the change, right? So it took a little bit, and she had given me 10 extra cents. And so I told her, and then I started immediately recounting the coins again because it's like unusual that a customer would get that wrong, right? Because typically customers get it right. And so I start counting it again, but as I'm counting it, she's like saying numbers. She's like trying to complete my counting for me, but she doesn't know at what stage I'm in the counting. She's like, that's 10 pennies or whatever. It was like 2 quarters, and this isn't helping my case, but I don't know the names of the coins. Like, I know the small coin is 10 cents, and I know the big coin is 5 cents, and the bigger coin is a quarter, right? But, a nickel. Okay. So she had given me a quarter and, 2 nickels and, like, 2 dimes and 10 pennies, and it was really weird. Like, it was a strange, like, typically when people pay exact cash, they, like, don't do the, they give me like a nickel instead of giving me 10 pennies, you know what I'm saying? Or they give me 2 dimes instead of giving me 2 pennies. It was very strange. But you know, this lady gave me her weird coins, and I was trying to count them, and she kept trying to like speed me up on the counting, and I don't know why. I think it's because she was like saying numbers while I was trying to count, but it had counted to something different. And so I was like, okay, this is different twice. So in my head, I didn't like do this exact calculus, but I thought to myself like, oh, I'm gonna count it a 3rd time because my past 2 calculations have been different. And then she said, it's 3rd grade math, buddy. And I was like, oh my god. I said, okay. It's really irritating. Like, it was just crazy. And it was so crazy. Yeah, so my hair looks a little weird. Okay, that's fine. And so, you know, then she had just given me $1. She took the change back, and then she gave me $1, which was crazy. Like, I'm sorry, I could have said this with a lot better timing, and it could have been funnier. But yeah, I'm just scratching my leg right now. She totally just took the change back and then gave me $1. Like, why give me the change in the first place? It was so weird. And I just gave her change back, and it sucked. It sucked because, one, like, what if I did get the change wrong? Like, that's what I'm kind of worried about. Like, you know, like, what if I did get the change wrong? You know, and she was, you know, of course, she was in the wrong and being rude, but, like, maybe I did get it wrong. But that feels unlikely because I never get change counting wrong. Like, I'm very good at it and I'm fast at it and whatever. And so it's strange that it would, like, I would have been off there. But I don't know. Of course, you know, I view the world from my perspective, and so I'm inclined to think I'm in the right? But, you know, who knows? And it just sucked. Like, it really sucked. And yeah, I didn't really let it get me down for the rest of the day. I sort of thought, like, did I get the change wrong for the rest of the day? But, like, aside from that, like, it didn't really emotionally affect me too bad. It was fine. It was just irritating. It was a funny story. And yeah, I have all of my paychecks from so we get physical paychecks at my job, and I have all of my paychecks forever. And so I'm scanning them. I have a scanner, and I'm scanning them. Because this is getting a little too, but this is a big envelope. Because I've been working since 2022, and I didn't work for a year, but. And yeah, nothing else is going on. Oh, for dinner we had steak, and it was very, very tasty. It was Prime. It was Prime New York strip. I could be wrong. And it was supposedly expensive, and it was very tasty, and it was thick, and it was tasty. I love steak. And my dad cooked it because it's hot outside today. And yeah, nothing else really going on. Bye, you freaks.